I don't remember the name of the film, sorry, but it was, I don't know, it was a Swedish film or a Norwegian. I think it was both. Both cinemas were engaged, and in Swedish were observing the habits, the kitchen habits of the Norwegians, and the Norwegians were being observed. When the Swedes crossed the border of Norway, one of the Swedes, the head of our operation, he mentioned that he felt immediately worse after crossing the border. I don't know, it was probably a joke, but I never heard a joke like that. Even, for instance, we Poles, not me particularly, but not me privately, but many Poles dislike the Germans, but I never heard even a joke that the Pole felt automatically and just after crossing the border worse when they got to Germany's territory or Russia's territory, something like this. This is really something. This is some higher level of being malicious, or maybe jokes, or maybe I don't know. But there's many. For instance, in the Swedes are different from the Danes. They are different from Norwegians. Danes and Norwegians are mostly they're alike, because Norway belonged to Denmark up to 1814, and I think this is that explains why this complex of Denmark and Norway, they are in NATO, and they are very actively participating in NATO alliance. And Sweden and Finland, which were also connected historically. Finland was something like a colony of Sweden for many years, and was not existing as a political entity up to the 20th century. So the Swedes were and Finnish are neutral largely on the international scene. So there's a huge difference, and also difference between Sweden and Denmark, because they were the capitals of Norway and Sweden. Norway and Sweden were the peripheries. The greatest Danish writer, except Hans Christian Andersen, was probably Ludvig Holberg, and he was born in Norway. But to make some career, obviously he went to Copenhagen. So the same was about the Finnish politicians. There was an 18th century very famous politician, Malte Ramel, as you can hear. He was Finnish, and he went to Sweden, of course, to have some sort of political career. Of course, it was impossible in Finland, and even the Finnish language in writing was invented largely by a Swedish Finnish, the Finnish of the Finn of Swedish descent, Mr. Lönnrot. So he invented Finnish language in writing. Okay. When a Danish chef, for instance, and his subordinate, he tells him, let's suppose him, do this or that. How you will do it, it's your way, your call. The Swedish chef will organize a huge meeting debating about the sense of doing something. But after that meeting, in which both the subordinate and the boss were, of course, participating, and the other employees also, not even those which are not immediately connected really with the project. They would discuss it, and after this discussion, the subordinate that was given the project to do was to do it exactly as it was taught during the meeting. So it's totally two different approaches. So sometimes the Danes and the Swedish call themselves Arabs of the North, the Danes, and Germans of the North, the Swedish. More, but Germans of the North, it's a little bit exaggeration. The Germans like some authoritarian style from time to time. But it's more this democratic thing. Okay. Okay. So there was So about disliking Norwegians. About the equal rights for women and men, yes, to the extent of having 50% even of the positions reserved for women, which maybe is resulting in a different style of politics. With 35%, which are, for instance, in Polish parliament, it's